And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
More like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy here.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? He met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now that you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Luther Richter, Arnold, okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay. Hey.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's and we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. oh God! And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes.
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do
mean,
it? Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile. Smile going on some shoes, but you know,
Wait, hold up.
You got-
I gotta
when it's
try
time-
this with
when
you.
it- when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try
you
this
gotta
with
think of
you.
something funny and start
do,
laughing.
do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
Just a sexy eye right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smizing.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
I wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope you guys are all having a terrific Tuesday. It is Tuesday, y'all. And I don't know about you guys, but in my neck of the woods, it is raining like crazy. So if you out here in this rain, stay dry. Just stay as dry as you can. Dry as a saltine cracker. Okay? Hopefully you guys are going well and doing well out there. Like I said, today is Tuesday. And by the way, happy Haitian Flag Day to all my Haitian brothers and sisters out there. Yes, today's a day to be happy. Today's a day to rejoice, okay? If you Haitian, only if you're Haitian. Don't rejoice if you're not Haitian. You're not allowed to be happy today. Only the Haitians, okay? I totally kid. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about today, y'all. Like a lot, okay? So that's a full-on heads up. We're going to be blazing through a whole lot of stuff, okay? Because there's a lot of things that we didn't have time, that we didn't get to do yesterday, as far as covering some things that happened yesterday. And there's a lot of things that have happened overnight that we are going to be chopping up about today. So, without further ado, before we get into all of that stuff, my brother David's in the house. What's a guam, bruh?
Hey man, not much. Everything here is good. It's kind of gloomy out here too, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it's cool that it's Haitian Flag Day. I don't actually know what the Haitian flag looks like though, but on top of that, the ambassador was just, I think the other day, complaining that they're starting to get too many deportations from the U.S. and they can't manage all of the people coming back from the U.S. So that's not good.
Crazy, right? They're like, hey, they left. Now they're Wait a second. Wait, hold up. Now they're coming back in. We don't have space. What? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. But you guys don't. Okay, let me look up this Haitian flag really quick. I feel bad because I don't have a Haitian flag. Personally, I do not have one. But show you guys what this Haitian flag looks like, y'all. Boom. Whoop. Hold on, guys. What the heck? Well, this is what the Haitian flag looks like. This is all on Amazon. I don't know. Anybody want to buy a Haitian flag? You can buy one for $7.99 on Amazon. So there you go. Okay. So that is what the Haitian flag looks like. You know what I'm saying? So, happy Haitian Flag Day. All right. My people, okay? My blood, we are resilient. We are a resilient people. And we are fighters. I guess that's why I do a show, okay? So happy Haitian Flag Day to all my Haitians out there and all my wannabe Haitians out there. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all know about the food. Some of y'all know about the culture. You know what I'm saying? So, sac passé. Trista on Facebook just said sac passé. That means like, what's up? Or, what's up? What's good? All right. So anyway, Happy Haitian Flag Day to everyone out there, okay? But we got to jump into some stories for you. We got some stories for that day, okay? And one of them is very interesting. Matt Gaetz is in serious trouble. TikTok. Matt Gaetz, TikTok. It's only a matter of time that he will be in shackles, and I cannot wait. You might ask, why? Why, Pascal? ¿Por qué? Why are you excited about Matt Gaetz possibly getting locked up in the very, very near future? Well, his partner, his ace, his side, like his number one, you know what I'm saying? His Spock to his Captain Kirk, I forgot who it was for a second there, just pled guilty. It's crazy. Joel Greenberg has just pled guilty. David's got the story. Come on, man. Give me something good.
All right. So, like you just said, TikTok Matt Gaetz, they actually had someone in an aircraft flying that overhead while Joel Greenberg was in a federal courtroom pleading guilty in cooperation with the prosecutors of the area. And for those who don't remember, Joel Greenberg was directly tied to a lot of Matt Gaetz's accusations, specifically the accusation that he flew over state lines with an underage individual, and also that that he was pretty much going to colleges and probably high schools to try and pick up these women, and he was one of the ones that may have been, or girls in a lot of these cases, and he may have been one of the people helping him. So Joe Greenberg, who was previously a tax collector that resigned last June, just pleaded guilty to 6 felony charges, including sex trafficking. So he was led into court by the U.S. Marshals. He was already in a jumpsuit, and pretty much he just walked right up. And the magistrate, Judge Leslie R. Hoffman, asked Greenberg, "Are you pleading guilty because you're guilty?" "I am," he replied. So a total, he faces 33 charges, but prosecutors agreed to drop the other 27 counts against him, and specifically said that he pleads guilty to these, again, including sex trafficking, identity theft, stalking, wire fraud, and conspiracy to bribe a public official. And to also remind people, he was tied with Gaetz and possibly helping transfer money to not only the girls and the young women, but also to help kind of cover it up with the other individuals. So they expect that Greenberg's sentencing will be held within the next 75 days. He has 14 days to file an objection. However, he pled guilty, so it's very unlikely that he would do that. Basically, he would only plead an objection if he felt that he was like the process didn't go accordingly, and basically the process was he just stood up and said, "I'm guilty." So there wasn't a whole lot to this process here. They already had the agreement behind the scenes with the prosecutor, and he will have to continue to cooperate with prosecutors with ongoing investigations, which likely, as we already know, Gaetz is being investigated. So this likely includes that he will be continuing to aid in Gaetz's investigation. Just to remind some people, previously Greenberg claimed and now has pled guilty to having sexual interactions with a 17-year-old that Gaetz also did. And that's part of what he pled guilty to. So this is very damning for Gaetz because the incidences that Gaetz were implicit in, Greenberg has just pled guilty to them being sex trafficking. And so, I mean, the follow-up is kind of obvious here. I mean, we have to see what ends up happening here as far as Gaetz is concerned. But like I said, Greenberg will be sentenced within 75 days. And as he's already pled guilty, it's likely he will face jail time for those, even if he does get some leeway from cooperating.
Better, though. Like, he might get some leeway for cooperating, but, baby, he about to be somebody's B real quick. He about to be a bottom B. It's for somebody in prison. And we talking prison. We're not talking jail. We talking prison. He doing horde time, not soft time. Horde time, okay?
Yep.
And this feels so good. But here's the thing, though. Here's the problem. Here's my problem. What if Greenberg is Matt Gaetz' fall guy. Think about it. Think about it. He takes a plea deal, or he takes a deal. He must have made some sort of deal, right? Yeah. To plead guilty so quickly, right? Gavel goes, he's like, guilty. Okay, come on. He must have done some sort of deal. Let's keep it straight funky, okay? Now, what if that deal has everything to do with keeping Matt Gaetz out of court? There is that possibility. There is that good possibility. Like, I'm taking all of it. I'm taking all the blame. I'm taking all responsibility. There is that possibility. I know that might be a shot in the dark, but for me, he could very well be taking the L for Matt. But then again, he could very well not be taking the L for Matt. That's a possibility too. And that's fine. That's more than fine. Please, please, I want to see him in jail. I want to see him in jail. Put him in jail right now.
I think just because of the severity of those.
Fall guy, though?
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact that he pled guilty to such serious crimes means that he's probably not going to be the fall guy. Specifically because he did plead guilty to sex trafficking of an underage individual, which is the main thing that ties him to Matt Gaetz. It is possible there's something else going on here, but I think this is Joel Greenberg's best chance to get any leniency whatsoever, because a lot of his other charges are much more heavily proved. And I'll just go over those real quick, actually. But so one of the things for all the other charges, the non-sex related charges, I'm just going to go over those real quickly. But basically, one of the things he began to do is he would create fake IDs for himself early on and use those to pretty much hide his identity with individuals. He admitted to paying $70,000, including money from the tax collector's office over 2 years to women with sex that he met on websites, and including people of the age of 17. And he went on to use tax collector's office to hide the fact he created fake identities. And he also used his public office as his personal bank account. He would trade money from the tax collector's office into cryptocurrency for himself. He also, on his first day in office, he did use his public position to pretty much take control of the information about his past history and cover all of that up as well. He handed out millions of dollars in public money to friends and political associates, and for things those are the things he's being charged with, but he's also had other controversies throughout the time, such as supposedly posting anti-Muslim messages, threatening people with firearms threatening people online with firearms. And of course, he also had plans to come back and run for election in 2020, which is now, I would say, not going to happen at all, thankfully.
I mean, Shay just said something that I thought was really, really funny, because I haven't heard this word in a long time. She said, fake IDs just to get laid. I don't understand. All this for some tail? LOL. Tail. Never. I haven't heard, especially I've never heard a woman say tail. But yes, I agree. I don't understand it either. But hey, I guess people do weird things when they have money that's just fun coupons, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, Shay. But at the same time, yeah, this is all bad. All things. This is really bad. Long story short, this is really bad. Matt Gaetz, I want to see you in jail. Yes. I'm so excited about it. Like, I can't wait for this to all go down. He needs to go. He needs to go. I would love to see something with Marjorie Taylor Greene, but, you know, I don't think she's that crazy. You know, maybe too many burpees. You know what I'm saying? Maybe too many thrusters or something like that. But
unfortunately, if anything, she's getting more powerful within the Republican Party.
Yeah. You know, so
Gaetz, on the other hand, is he's getting ridiculed by some of his people. I don't remember
as
the
he
exact
should be.
quote.
It doesn't make any sense to me that they would, like, all the accusations that are going on right at Gaetz, and the party that he's a part of hasn't been distancing themselves until just now. but they haven't really been distancing themselves with him. They've just been embracing him and letting him go around and speak after all these allegations that have been popping off since day one. I'm sorry. If I was the Republican Party, I would have been like, cut off his mic. Turn off his mic right now. It's a bad look for us. Period. But they didn't give a damn. They let this freakazoid run around and do his thing. And they're just behind him even harder. Now they look really bad. His partner, like I said, his Spock to his Captain Kirk has just pled guilty on all counts. On all of them. Including sex trafficking. Bruh, come on. Come on, man. This is somebody who's representing your party. Just saying that out loud. Sorry, not sorry.
And one thing that is true that doesn't get too much coverage is there are some prominent Republicans that have been speaking out against him since fairly the beginning, mostly state GOP members such as from Ohio and others, Illinois as well, and I think Indiana. So he is getting a lot of negative reactions from GOP, and pretty much some individuals have called him the P word, basically, because he is. However, we do not see necessarily all of this coming from the Senate area, which is where we would kind of want to see that more. I guess McConnell has like insulted him personally or whatever, which is kind of funny, but he hasn't necessarily pushed to get him out of there as quickly as he could. I do think that everyone's waiting within the GOP is just kind of waiting to get rid of him. But they could have some of the leadership within the Senate, within Congress, could definitely be pushing a lot harder. Because, like I said, most of what we are seeing is from state GOP representatives. The representatives within Congress just seem to kind of be okay with letting him stay there and drift along until something comes up that's too irrefutable to keep him in office anymore.
Yeah. The Debate Me channel. What's up, man? Wait a second. The Debate Me channel. Hold up. Did you get your channel back? Did you get your channel back, bruh? Because if you did, that's fantastic news. Sorry to break the conversation, but my boy, the Debate Me channel's back. And if that's true, I'm very happy to see or hear that, my brother. You got to comment down below and let me know, because that is a joyous situation. But what he said, what the Debate Me channel just said on YouTube, he said, there will be no videos from Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, and Dave Rubin on this. I wonder why. And yeah, you're right. Well, one, Crowder has been banned, so he's not on YouTube for right now. He's been banned for 2 weeks. And Ben Shapiro, yes, I feel like if it was Ben Shapiro, if it was Shapiro, Crowder, or Rubin on any of these subjects, especially when this guy, where it's really, really bad, they look like a damn fool. All right? Yeah. Of course they're not going to talk about this. It makes the Republican Party look really, really bad. So of course they're not going to talk about this. What I would, one thing I would embrace more than anything in the world is if the right side commentators were to address the situation and actually bring it to light and show how bad and messed up it is, and how messed up and bad that the Republican Party was still backing this guy up to the point where they were trying to do an America First rally or campaign of some sort, and they were really like this close to getting that off the ground. And the Republican Party just said fine with all this. They were totally cool with this. They swept all of this knowledge of him doing very, very bad things. Bad things. Okay? Bad things. They swept it under the rug until Joel just exposed both of their asses. And it's funny how they don't get in front of it and say, hey, this is not what the Republican Party represents. This is what's happening, warts and all. This guy's a piece of trash, and his partner is even worse than him. No, actually, sorry. They're just as bad. The only thing is that Joel is pleading guilty right now. Like I said, he's being the fall guy right now. For now. But Gates, it's coming. They're coming for you. But I would love to see the right talk about this and actually bring it to light and put in their own 2 cents about it. I'm talking Tatum, Logan, Owens, Crowder, Shapiro, Rubin. I would love to hear all of them talk about this. Shed some light on it, damning it, saying this is wrong, and this is the type of people that should not be a part, nor should be representing the Republican Party. That's the only way you're going to be able to do more, is if you spread the word, spread the message, and acknowledge that there are bad people in that party. Period. Just some are a lot more tainted. Yes, I said tainted than others. That's all. Some of them are doing some real illegal-ish, like Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, I mean, Debate Me channel, in fact, he's done, I don't remember when, past few weeks or so, he did a video. Pretty much all the right-leaning sources are just straight up ignoring the Matt Gaetz issue. And he went through all the major ones, and they are just straight up, it's like a no-talk thing for them. None of the major sources on the right are talking about it at all. They're just kind of ignoring it and pretending it didn't happen at all. And it's continuing, and it seems like it's continuing to be that way. So
yeah, Games and Gossip on YouTube just said the right denies, then deflection comes. It's the Trump tactic. Yeah, sounds about right. Definitely sounds about right. Real quick before we jump over to the next story, to our next topic, I'm looking. I didn't see what Debate Me said. I was in the middle of ranting. Hold on. I'm trying to find out. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy for you, Debate Me. Wow. That's amazing news, bruh. I'm happy for you, bruh. Congratulations on getting your channel back. Real talk, because it was gone for a minute, and that's terrible. So I'm glad that it's back together and you're doing okay. Anytime, man, that's my brother right there, the Debate Me channel. Go check him out when you get some time, all right? His channel's finally back up, so that's really, really great news. But anyway, Beautiful Walking, thank you so much. You rant so well. Thank you. I do. I appreciate that. You'll say that now, and then 6 months later, you're like, just shut up, Pascal. I can't stand you ranting. God. But anyway, Matt Gaetz in trouble. Yay. I'm excited about it. Now, and finally, the truth is coming to light. Whatever's in the dark shall come to light. And he's been doing some very, very dirty and dark things, y'all. Speaking of dirty and dark things, this is a little bit of a left turn. We're going off the political reservation. We're going off into another world. Now, there are a bunch of actresses out here that have been claiming that this director slash casting director slash acting coach has basically been using his power and his auditions for other reasons. We got to check this out. Saw this a couple days ago. I felt like we had to take a look at this. Talk about casting couch. Take a look.
I-Team exclusive. 7 actresses from across the country tell our I-Team that a Hollywood acting coach lured them into making sexually charged videos for a television role that did not exist.
One actress filed a Federal Trade Commission complaint accusing the Atlanta-based acting coach of coercion, fraud, and revenge porn. Senior I-Team reporter Dale Russell has the story.
I had no idea you were going to propose.
They are actresses from across the country, from Los Angeles.
Why are you trying to make me feel guilty for needing your help right now?
To Atlanta.
I love my girls.
All with Hollywood hopes and dreams.
That's a coworker, isn't it? Yeah, girl, he really tried to get my number.
Though they didn't know each other personally, they shared a common bond. At one time or another, they studied acting with a nationally known Hollywood director and acting coach, Troy Rowland.
Ready and action.
Rowland made a name for himself coaching Hilary Duff in Disney's hit show Lizzie McGuire.
So his claim to fame is Lizzie McGuire. Yeah,
And at that moment, I knew that it was crazy, that Lizzie was just out there.
Here he is more recently on a set with former Destiny's Child singer, now actress, Kelly Rowland.
Today, Kelly had a good day. She came to play.
He coaches in L.A., Houston, and right here in Atlanta. A class can cost $400 a night. The Fox 5 I-Team went undercover to see what he told students he could do for them.
He's acting for film and television.
But it's what happened outside of class that caught our eye. The I-Team spoke with 7 actresses who studied with Troy Rowland. They all say he urged them to try out for the role of a stripper in a new TV series. They say he told them to video a sexually charged audition tape, and they were horrified to find out later the role never existed.
Okay, first off, $400 a pop. First off, dude making crazy monies, okay? Riding off of Hillary Duff. Let me just say that really quick. Hillary Duff, Lizzie McGuire. So he's still riding off of that. And yeah, he coached Kelly Rowland. Cool. But this dude is also sitting here saying, hey, girls, these young, attractive, aspiring actresses that are willing to do whatever it takes for a role or to find success. He's going, well, there's this acting gig for this new show that's coming out, and they need a strippers. They need some scrippers. Why don't you come and audition for me?
One of the actresses filed a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. In her complaint, the actress told the FTC Rowland was guilty of impersonation, coercion, fraud, and revenge porn.
Hold on. Impersonation? Who he acting like? That's what I'd like to know. What was he impersonating? That doesn't make any sense. The revenge P is a different thing, though. That's really messed up. But let's continue.
I'm off the game.
The role was supposed to be in a spin-off of the highly popular television series Power.
He saw I was vulnerable and an easy target.
Rowland sent a script for the audition tape and the role of Keisha, whom he described as sexy, nice body, sexual, and sensual.
And I'll be reading for the role of Keisha.
Rowland gave them a scene to shoot in a strip club private room. Instructions were clear. She turns and shows him all she has, and she gives him the best lap dance he has ever had.
And just to know that he made all that of it.
Over an 8-month period beginning in 2019, in multiple cities, Rowland invited actresses to audition for this same role.
I need to be seductive, wear something very revealing, and don't be shy.
Rowland texted one actress and urged her to wear see-through lingerie as well as stripper attire.
Just can't handle all this.
And to urge them to be sexier, they say, Troy Rowland sent them the provocative audition tapes made by other actresses.
Like this is some sort of competition. Hey, you got to check out this other video from this other girl who read for Kiki. You see what I'm saying? Or for Keisha. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. This guy was sending those videos that he shot, acting like they were actually auditioning for a role, and sent them to other girls to say, I bet you could do better than this. So when I see you, you better go beyond what this woman just did. Crazy, right?
And he said, I want you to do it like them, but do it better.
Wear something a little bit more revealing in this area. Show off your assets. Stay open.
And everyone was like, do a little more. She did this, so you need to do a little bit more.
Janika Lachey from Houston and Erica Davis from California were stunned when one night in January, while they both happened to be acting in the same movie, they compared notes and ultimately unraveled the scheme.
It was devastating. Like, my heart just dropped. Like, I was shaking. Like, I didn't want to go home.
Something in me still wanted to know, like, what was he planning? What was he trying to do?
They reached out to Power casting director Rory Bergman, who confirmed their worst fears. There was no Keisha, no part at all, and they had no working relationship with Troy Rowland.
That's messed up.
Rory Bergman told the I-Team the auditions were reprehensible and that I want this guy to never be able to do this to anyone else again.
Facts.
No one had a clue that behind closed doors he's preying on women like this.
As they grappled with what to do and who to tell, Janika and Erica realized they were far from alone. There were other women duped into provocative auditions.
And then another girl came up, and then another girl, and another girl. And then to know that my video was shared to bring these other women in.
They identified 5 other women.
That's a
the
damn
I-Team
shame.
talked to all of them, 4 on camera. Caitlin Bryant is the only one who didn't go through with her audition after a friend warned her it didn't seem right. She was stunned when she learned about the deception.
It just put me in a place that I had went dark, because at that moment, that's when I knew this was not real. And I thought it was just me.
All the rest share the same fear.
Where is that video at? That video has me in lingerie and partial nudity and a sexual, sensual dance. Yep. It's sick.
And that was the scary moment, was what are you doing with these videos?
Mr. Rowland, we want to talk to you very briefly, can we?
We tried to talk to Troy Rowland before one of his acting classes. He jumped in his car and sped off. He also didn't answer our earlier emails, phone calls, or texts.
I think he's operating like a predator because of the strategies that he's using to get women on tape, and that is wrong.
That's real cute.
We turn now to
Man, okay, we got to talk about this, okay? Because this whole story is really, really sad, all right? Because there's guys out here. The reason why I brought this up, because I wanted you guys to know that there are men and women out here that are doing exactly what he did. Saying, oh yeah, there's an audition for this big role in this movie or in this TV show, still in development, or here's the title, it's a working title, but you need to be such and such. You need to enact this piece. You got to play, you got to play a sex worker. You got to play, whatever, And what's so frustrating is that these women are not alone. That man is not the only man that's doing shady ass stuff like that behind closed doors. Now, I saw Pioneer ask something about, is this illegal or no? Hell yes, this is illegal. You're basically luring a woman in to do something. They think that they're doing something, that they're auditioning for a role, but you are literally making your own sex tapes for your own enjoyment. Then you're taking those videos and sharing those to other people. And God knows who else he's sharing those videos to. Not only just to the other girls that are about to audition. He's like, you need to do better. You need to push it, go all the way past what she did. You got to go all the way, right? Hell yeah, that's illegal. The fact that he's soliciting those types of things, and God knows what other things, what extremes he's gone to get a girl scantily clad or in bed. People like this need to stop. Now, the other part, I need to say this too. I feel really, really bad for the women, because it shows you how desperate someone can get for a role. Whether that's Keisha or background actor number 2. People are so 110% desperate to be successful and to be that next name that they're willing to do whatever, jump in blindly for a role. Now, I've seen auditions. Usually when it comes to it, this kind of situation, when it comes to auditions, usually when it comes to like somebody who's playing like a stripper or a prostitute or something like that, you go into the first audition dressed normally. You're just reading the part. Usually they'll go into the callbacks and whatnot, and they'll go, okay, do you think you can wear something that's a little bit more revealing for the callback? Because we want to see how how you look and how you fit with the part, etc. So that happens in a callback, not right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really annoying and really sad that we are at this place where women and some men will go to great lengths blindly because they're so adamant about being successful. David, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is it's a problem. It's not it's reminiscent of Weinstein, if nothing else.
Absolutely.
See, the part I see as the issue is he's basically bringing these women in and promising them that they have the chance to make money or a career out of what they're doing here. But that's not really the case here. He's basically just filming private videos for his own entertainment and or to sell them online, which is quite possible. If he's, they'd probably never be aware if he sold them online, I would think. And it's very possible that he would do that. I mean, I don't even know if these videos are real online half the time, but like the whole voyeurism thing and all of that the casting couch thing is a big, I guess, draw in that sector. I don't know if they're normally real or not, but at the very least, he's got these that he probably will sell for that. So that's the main problem I see within this. Also, the fact that I guess this is the issue is that what they're doing is not representative of the work that they would have, specifically in this case, because there is no work. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we've seen this with other things, specifically shows in the late 90s, early 2000s. I do remember this happening a lot, where women would be brought in and asked to dress or perform for a certain role that was not actually a role, and they would end up just using that to see the women, basically. Of course, at the same time, if they do get the job, they're more likely to be happy with it. And I mean, I think that's fair. If you're like these casting videos are ultimately supposed to be private, but if they get the role and then they're supposed to be scantily clad, that's their business. I mean, I just finished watching Mortal Kombat Conquest, which is a show from the 90s. Pretty much everyone on there is wearing leather strings for clothes. So it's all just a bunch of half-naked men and women fighting each other the whole time. Mm-hmm. And, they're getting paid for that. They know what they're doing, and they're going in there for that. And that does make it quite a bit of difference, especially since, if they are in that casting room and they're dressed in these skimpily clad clothes fighting or whatever, that's normal. That's their role. That's what they're actually being hired to do. So there's no fraud there, and there's no misleading to take videos of people that do not intend for those videos to be taken for that purpose. So this is a problem that we've had within. I'm sure it happens in film all the time too. Roles being created, it's probably just a little more expensive that way. So you have people like Weinstein who are producers that kind of do their own casting couch, right? Because it's more expensive. You can't just create up a movie as quickly as you can create up a show that you would then just erase. True. Shows get canceled all the time before they even get their pilot episode.
That is true.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the main thing here. And I think that would be what would make it illegal, is because you're not allowed to record people naked or in situations like that under false pretense. And I'm pretty sure that would fall under this as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, all right. The fact that he was doing that thing, saying all those things, he was just riding off of, like I said, he was riding off of his clout that he had, this moment. It's like he had that whole I peaked in high school situation where he's just riding on the fact that he worked with Hillary Duff on whatever the show was called. I forgot now. Lizzie McGuire, right? That's the only thing really that he's riding off of. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just saw somebody say something about his car. Yeah, like if a casting director pulls up in an old Chevy, he's fake. You see what I'm saying? Like, he pulled up, and I'm not sitting here saying that you got to have like the dopest whip in the world, but there's something that tells you about somebody's ride when you pull up. And you see his ride. You're like, wait a second. He just got done working with Kelly Rowland. He did this, that, and the third. Okay. Don't get me wrong. You know, Chevys are reliable. You know what I mean? Fantastic. Yay. But at the same time, though, he's still writing off. He's still writing off of something that he did decades ago. And then now you have these women who are seeing that, and he's using that opportunity to prey on these innocent women because he's saying, oh, I'm so connected. I got this, this, and this. So these girls are going, oh, my God, I'm working with somebody who is casting this and casting me and all that stuff, you know, or could cast me in something. And I would love that. So then they're doing whatever they can to get in his good graces and be on the tip of his tongue when it comes to they're looking for a good looking black woman, age range late 20s to early 30s. Then he goes, oh, I know this woman would be perfect, such and such. That's what they're hoping for. But like I said, this man was straight up preying on these innocent women and scamming the hell out of these women, making them believe that they have a shot at something that didn't actually exist. And that's really, really messed up, y'all. Really, truly messed up. But we got to jump into a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to be doing Speak on It. And I'm looking forward to it because this Joe Rogan quote, yeah, people are feeling some type of way about what he said in this quote. We're going to take a look at it right after this break. We'll be right back. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and being a part of the conversation. If this is your first time checking out this show, please go hit that like button underneath the feed. That would really mean a lot. And also, crush that subscribe button. I do this show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I do an evening show at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Tuesdays through Thursdays. So please crush that subscribe button. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that join button. That would really mean a lot. You know, $4.99 a month allows me to keep giving you guys your stories of the day. Anyway, actually, before we go into the Speak on It, David, I don't know if you heard me, but I was thinking we should do that mask thing real quick. That whole thing about the possibility of masks forever.
Oh, right.
Yes. So I wanted to jump into that real quick. So allegedly, there are people out here, because obviously as the country starts to slowly open back up, and people are starting to get used to walking around and being in public, there's been a new, I guess, a new survey out there where people are thinking about possibly wearing masks for good. David's got the story. What's up, man?
All right, so like you said, this is mostly part of a new poll that's come out recently. So several news agencies, mostly the New York Times of late, has been polling people and asking them, basically, are they going to continue to wear their masks or not? Because a lot of people are saying that even with the new CDC guidelines that you do not need to wear the mask, and with the studies that they're using to back it up, people are saying that they will continue to wear their masks anyway, since there is a percentage chance of you still getting the thing and passing it on to other people. And so they've been, like I said, New York Times and others have been polling people. So that's one of the things they've found is that by going around, they're finding just that is the general sentiment amongst a lot of people in these cities. So they just basically went around interviewing people, most recently in New York, and asking people if they can plan to continue to wear their masks. And many of them have said yes. One of them says, I have no problem being one of the only people to wear a mask, but I don't think I'm going to be the only one. And other people have pointed out that basically they wear the masks to somewhat differentiate themselves from Republicans because they now associate not wearing a mask with being a Republican. And some people do not want that association just by not wearing a mask. But across the board, there does not seem to be one singular reason why people want to continue to wear these masks. But for the most part, it does not seem to be based on any sort of general guidance. Like some people are asking, why should people care if someone wants to wear a mask outside? Which, that's a fair point. No one should care. The point of the poll is that a lot of people, and they found around, 20% of people vaccinated want to continue to wear their mask. A lot of people, they say, according to some of the psychologists they've interviewed, they say that young people, they figure they're invulnerable, and being the mask, wearing the mask actually helps them feel that way in some cases. So a lot of people, especially teenagers, are reporting that they feel more comfortable wearing these masks because they hide uncomfortable facial features that they don't want people to see anymore. And a lot of these people have become just basically used to hiding their face. And, there's a lot of people out there that are insecure and think that they need to hide their face when in honesty, they don't need to. They'd be just fine off. It's really their own insecurity, not necessarily how other people actually see them. But that is one of the things that is promoting people, especially teenagers, to continue to wear their masks at this point. But generally, the arguments seem to be amongst people they asked, why not continue to wear the masks? And so they're starting to be called perma-maskers by some of the people accumulating the data and doing the interviews. For the most part, they are vaccinated and continue to wear it despite that. Like I said before, the CDC has given guidance that it's no longer necessary to wear them, especially outdoors. However, the majority of these individuals also want to continue to wear their masks outdoors. And it's also being used basically not just to hide unpleasant facial features, but some people are reporting, such as Keela Samus from Florida, says that as a woman, we feel like we have to, when we go out in the public, put on a little bit of makeup, eyeliner, blush. With a mask, I don't have to do that. It really simplifies life. Right. And so these are the reasons a lot of people are giving to continue wearing their mask at this point. And some of them do, like I said, fairly plan to wear them forever, according to those polls. But like I said, for the vast majority of these people, the reason is not health related. It is related to social functions, or it's related to comfortability, or as part of their identity that they want to maintain. So that's where we are right now. A lot of people do want to continue to wear them.
Interesting.
For that reason, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, because, at the end of the day, yes, eventually we are all going to be sans mask, right? We're all going to be without mask here at some point. At some point. But, yeah, there has been some really great things about wearing a mask. Real talk. I'm gonna be real. You can walk in someplace just looking drove as hell, but not get recognized. You could go to the supermarket, look terrible, but you got the mask on, so nobody really knows who you are. The mask on and a baseball cap on. No one knows who you are. You're just some faceless, nameless person going into the supermarket and getting yourself some milk and bread. And that's one thing that I like about it, that is just like, you're not recognizable. You just can go in there, do your thing, and leave. You see what I'm saying? But then also at the same time, people be nasty. I don't care if you got the pineapple blast, the poke, whatever you want to call it. People be nasty. And this is a thing that made me, like, this was a realization once the masks were implemented on how nasty we are. In fact, given the fact that people are now going, hey, the fact that now people are like, oh, wait, the country's open. People are getting very lazy and lackadaisical when it comes to sanitation now, too. And we've only been, they only gave us that announcement like a few days ago, y'all. And there are people out here acting the damn fool, not wanting to wash their hands, not using the sanitation. People are getting lazy again, like that. As soon as that happened, they're like, oh, it's fine. I got the poke. I'm fine. It's like, no, you're not fine. Okay. And I can't talk any further on that because, bots and stuff. But at the same time, though, I don't see a problem with people sitting here saying, hey, I'm going to wear my mask for a little bit longer. I don't see a problem with that at all. In fact, that's something that I want to do. That's something I'm going to do. I will have a mask on until I feel comfortable enough to be out there, all up in the, in heavily populated areas, enclosed populated areas. I'll be wearing a mask until I'm comfortable enough to do that, until I know that there's no crazy, fluctuation of cases and stuff. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, everybody should still wash your hands, and follow the guidelines for a little bit longer. I mean, they just opened up the doors, and we're gonna muck it up real quick because everybody's spitting in each other's mouths and licking handlebars and doorknobs. So I'm telling you, man, people
Speaking
are getting crazy.
Which, teachers in Los Angeles and New York both have proposed the idea that they continue to wear masks for students, especially kindergartners and up, because they do have a tendency to put things in their mouth and spit on things. And so some proponents in those areas want to continue to see children masked so that it prevents the spreading of diseases to their teachers and then to other students. However, this is done by Italy, a survey of their doctors from the it's this Agostino Gemelli Hospital in Italy. They pointed out that nearly 30% of people have developed a post-traumatic stress disorder after severe illnesses such as COVID, and that it is particularly higher in specific countries such as the U.S. because of the additional societal factors that are pushing that stress. So one thing that a lot of these people are pointing to, especially the doctors, is that it's probably, for the most part, is kind of going to stay around for some people for a while as a means of dealing with this post-traumatic stress of the isolation and the people they may have lost or the illnesses they may have gone through themselves. So that is why doctors, I think that a lot of people will continue to wear masks despite other guidance suggesting otherwise, especially, especially since a lot of these doctors are promoting specifically not wearing them after said shot, so that their system gets back to normal, and that they the process of basically herd immunity can actually begin, even though herd immunity in the U.S. is pretty much guaranteed not to happen pretty much any time with this over the next few years.
Like I said, I'm gonna keep it real straight funky and say, wear it for as long as you can until you know for a fact that things are going to, when you know for a fact things are going to be a little bit less crazy, and that numbers are going crazy. Like I said, some people think that once they get the blast, that they're freaking Superman, that they're impenetrable to all this stuff. No, you could still, things can happen. You see what I'm saying? Things can still happen. So I just say tread lightly right now. Wear a mask. Don't be dumb. You know what I'm saying? Just it's only a little bit longer. What's the big deal? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can, when you can wear one, wear it. You see what I'm saying? Because you're only doing everybody else a favor as well. You know what I'm saying? You're keeping yourself safe even more, and also you're keeping the other ones around you safe as well. That's just what I say. Until this thing really does slow down. Go ahead, David. What were you going to say?
I was going to say there's some hope that regardless of who gets the shot, that we may not see this have as much of a increase in numbers as we would have expected in the past. Some states have begun doing this 2 months ago in the U.S., and so far there hasn't been a huge uptick in any location that has done so in the U.S. So if we manage to maintain that, which I hope we do, then regardless of the amount of people getting the pineapple blast, we should see, again, if that holds true for the rest of the country, we should see a relatively small uptick in the amount of people that get sick, regardless of the fact. But we won't know until we see it for sure. Yeah,
it's gonna be like I said, people are people are nasty. And Kiki5 said, Pascal, please. People haven't been washing their hands from the start. Have you ever seen the soap aisle empty? That is true. That is very, very true. You know, when it was the last time you went to use the bathroom, walked out and said, I'm sorry, there's no soap in the bathroom? You know, you guys ran out of soap. No, not really. I don't think I've ever witnessed that or experienced that in a while. So, like I said, myself, Mocha's sister said, I continue to wear my mask. Yeah, I'm going to continue wearing my mask until I feel like it, at least in for me, until I feel that I'm in safe hands. You see what I'm saying? In absolute safe hands. Yeah. So we got to jump into this breaking story real quick because this is happening right now as we speak. Shout out to Games and Gossip for letting us know right now because we have got to switch over, unfortunately, and shift gears. But this is a story I've been following for a while, and this is absolutely crazy. This has to do with Andrew Brown Jr. There is a press briefing right now as we speak. I need to pull this up, so give me a second, guys, because they are breaking the news right now, saying something. Let's see. Let's see here. Hold on, guys. Because there's some stuff that's going on in regards to the shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. Now, if you don't remember Andrew Brown Jr., Andrew Brown Jr. was the one, real quick, he was in his car, or actually not in his car, but there was a squad of cops that went to his place for a drug search warrant. Next thing you know, fast forward, they find him in his car. The car is riddled with bullets. The car is wrapped around a tree, and he has a bullet, a fatal gunshot wound to the back of his head. Now, I'm hearing that in this press briefing, they're saying something different. So I'm going to try to get it right back to the beginning so we can experience this conversation ourselves as a family. Allegedly, they're saying that the shooting was justified. I don't know what's going on. This is all breaking right now as we speak. Let's take a listen at what this guy has got to say.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. Once again, just as a form of introduction, my name is Andrew Womble, and I am the elected district attorney for Judicial District 1, which is the 7 counties of the Northeast. We're going to have this conference today. I have some prepared remarks that I'll be reading from. I have copies of those already prepared that you may pick up in the press packet. If you would like to have us email those to you, if you would supply us with an email, we'll be happy to do so. On Wednesday, April 21st, 2021, Andrew Brown, Jr. of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, was shot and killed by 3 deputies with the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office. This incident occurred at the residence of Mr. Brown, located at 421 Perry Street in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. After reviewing the investigation conducted by the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, Mr. Brown's death, while tragic, was justified because Mr. Brown's actions caused 3 deputies with the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office to reasonably believe it was necessary to use deadly force to protect themselves and others. While the officer-involved shooting that resulted in the death of Andrew Brown occurred on Wednesday, April 21st, law enforcement involvement with Mr. Brown began in the weeks prior and put the wheels in motion that eventually led to the attempted service of arrest and search warrants on April 21, 2021. In the early months of this year, Detective Johnson with the Dare County Sheriff's Office received information from a reliable confidential source that Andrew Brown, Jr. from Elizabeth City was selling drugs in Dare County. Detective Johnson contacted Pasquotank County and confirmed Mr. Brown's identity and that he is a known drug dealer.
They said a confident and reliable source said that Andrew Brown Jr. had drugs in his crib. Okay.
Upon learning this information, Detective Johnson, with the aid of the confidential informant, made 2 undercover buys from Brown on March 17th, 2021 and March 29th, 2021. Those buys were of cocaine and heroin, respectively. A later SBI lab analysis determined that the heroin was laced with fentanyl. Subsequently, arrest warrants were issued for Brown's arrest on April 20th, 2021. Simultaneous with the activity of the Dare County Sheriff's Office, Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office began collecting their own intelligence on the drug activity of Mr. Brown at his residence at 421 Perry Street. Detective Ryan Meads applied for and obtained a search warrant for the residence and vehicles of Mr. Brown. On Tuesday, April 20th, 2021, law enforcement now possessed 2 arrest warrants for the sale of controlled substances in Dare County, as well as a search warrant for the residence and vehicles of Mr. Brown. A joint team of law enforcement from Dare County and Pasquotank was assembled. The Dare County Drug Task Force was to provide surveillance, and the officers present that day were Detective Johnson, Sergeant Ruth, and Detective Langley. The Pasquotank Special Operation and Tactics team would serve the warrants and take Mr. Brown into custody. Their team consisted of Lieutenant Judge, Sergeant Meads, Deputy Morgan, Deputy Llewellyn, Deputy Bishop, Deputy Swindell, and Deputy Lunsford. Deputies Morgan, Llewellyn, Bishop, and Swindell were wearing body cameras. Their original plan was to serve the warrants on the night of April 20, 2021. However, Mr. Brown was not at his residence and could not be located by the surveillance team. On the morning of April 21, 2021, at approximately 5:30 a.m., law enforcement held a briefing here at the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office and planned to serve the warrants on Mr. Brown. During the briefing conducted by Sergeant Meads, the team was briefed on Mr. Brown and his past involvement with law enforcement. It was relayed to the team that Mr. Brown has multiple resist arrest charges and convictions dating back to 1995. Additionally, Mr. Brown has assault with a deadly weapon, and assault inflicting serious injury convictions dating back to 95. Further, Mr. Brown has barricaded doorways during previous home search warrant instances. No children were believed to be at the location, and the mother of Mr. Brown's minor children was seldom at his residence. At approximately 8 a.m., Mr. Brown was located on Speed Street here in Elizabeth City by one of the members of the Dare County Narcotics Team. Mr. Brown then drove his vehicle to his residence at 421 Perry Street and remained in his vehicle until law enforcement arrived. Upon receiving this information, the Pasquotank County team traveled to 421 Perry Street to serve the warrants in a clearly marked Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office truck with blue lights and emergency lights flashing. Detective Langley from Dare County drove the vehicle, and Deputy Lunsford was in the passenger seat. The remaining members of the Pasquotank County team were in the truck bed as the truck was en route. Upon arriving to 421 Perry Street at approximately 8:23 a.m., Mr. Brown was still sitting in his vehicle beside the residence. Detective Langley pulled the Pasquotank County truck in the driveway with his right front bumper close to the front bumper of Brown's vehicle to block any forward motion, and Brown was still seated in the vehicle. The 6 members of the Pasquotank County team approached Brown's vehicle, identified themselves, shouted commands to show them his hands, and to exit the vehicle. All members were wearing clearly marked Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office gear and uniforms. Deputy Lunsford headed directly to the driver's door with his weapon drawn and attempted to open the door. Deputy Swindale accompanied Deputy Lunsford to the driver's side of the car. Deputy Llewellyn went around the Pasquotank County truck and approached the vehicle from the front passenger side, and Deputy Bishop
Come on, projector, work. Perfect timing for this thing not to work.
Do this manually?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Deputy Llewellyn went around the Pasquotank County truck and approached the vehicle from the front passenger side, and Deputy Bishop and Sergeant Meads were directly in front of Brown's car. Deputy Morgan approached last and positioned himself between Deputy Bishop and Sergeant Meads.
Anytime now. You know, I think that projector's just sitting there going, you better quit lying. You better quit lying, y'all.
If you'll just be patient.
Okay.
I want you to have a full, complete, and accurate view of what transpired, what the deputies saw.
No, it's called just play the damn video. It's just called play the damn video instead of giving us damn slides.
Stop.
Shoot. Get out of here.
Once again, I will repeat. You're looking at Deputy Llewellyn's body cam, and he went around the Pasquotank County truck. He approached from the passenger side. Deputy Bishop, Sergeant Meads were directly in front of Brown's vehicle, and Deputy Morgan approached last and positioned himself between Deputy Bishop and Sergeant Meads. Brown was holding his phone when law enforcement approached. You skipped.
You skipped something.
Can you back up? Back up. All right.
Wow.
Brown threw the
Most of the
phone
videos
down
of pushing out have
and
like
rapidly back his car.
Hold on.
the main.
Hold on. What were you saying? Let me pause it really quick because he's saying really important stuff. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, with the way they are doing these shots, they take every photo where there's such a narrow field of view that you can't actually see mostly of what's going on. Because if you go with his description of the event, they came in pretty much hot because they expected him to cause a problem, even though he had not done so yet.
But notice that they're not showing the footage. You see what I'm saying?
They won't.
showing. No, they won't. They won't because it looks bad. But let's get through this and then we'll talk this out, okay? Because this is still going.
Have you taken it out? Am I completely offline at this point?
Come on, y'all. Get straight to the point. Come on. Keep talking, bruh. See, even your computer doesn't want you to lie.
You need to back up to about 5 slides. If you'll leave it right there.
Come on, y'all.
You're at photo 11. If you would back up to photo 6.
You got to go 5 clicks back. Come on.
You know, showing the video would make it a lot easier, but they won't.
No kidding. They won't show the video. They will not show that video.
I mean, they straight up described him as just backing up and going away, and then they said they shot him.
Right. All right. Are you ready to talk or what?
You're talking about like barricades he did in the past, like it has anything to do with this current situation. Like they're just kind of trying to distract people from the fact that they shot him in the back of the head while he was driving away.
Right on. Hold on.
Away from the officers. Deputy Lunsford's hand was still on the driver's door handle as Brown's car reversed and the handle was snatched out of his hand. At this moment, Deputy Lunsford yelled out, and Deputy Lunsford was pulled over the hood of Brown's vehicle where his body and his safety equipment were struck by the vehicle. Deputy Lunsford's left arm was squarely on the hood. Deputy Lunsford took evasive action to get out of the way of the front left tire of Brown's vehicle, and law enforcement commands became more heated with profanities shouted for Brown to stop the car. Brown ignored the officer's commands and backed his car until he was blocked by the rear of his residence. Continue. Continue. Right there. Brown then put the car in drive and turned the steering wheel left directly at law enforcement officers who had now surrounded his vehicle. Despite this tense situation and the aggressive driving by Mr. Brown, no law enforcement officer fired a shot. As Brown's car starts forward,
at that time,
Lunsford was now positioned directly in front of the vehicle, and all officers were shouting commands to stop.
Good thing he's
Brown
turning left.
ignored the commands and drove directly at Deputy Lunsford. Deputy Lunsford used his left hand to push off of the hood. It was at this moment that the first shot is fired. Deputy Lunsford then spun out of the way to avoid being run over by Brown's vehicle.
But you can see that the guy is not really. Hold up, real quick. Real quick. You could see that Andrew Brown is not trying to hit him. He's trying to go out of the way. You see in that clip, in that one photo, that one still, the tires are turned to the left. He's trying to get out of the way. He's not trying to hit them. He's trying to get out of the way. He's trying to move around them so he can make his getaway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, he's contradicting himself as he talks. I mean, at the beginning of it, he says he's making a sharp left turn, and that's the reason that they had to engage him, because a sharp left turn would have brought him towards someone. But then the second later, he's saying he's going straight at this officer, even though we're still at part of his left turn that he's talking about.
It's still in the left turn.
Right. So if that left turn threatens one officer, he couldn't have threatened this one because of just the way he described it. So, I mean, the left turn is obviously happening. He even mentioned it, but then he chooses to ignore it for a few seconds before acknowledging it again.
That's weird. Let's hear the rest of this.
According to the North Carolina Justice Academy forensic analyst Casey Reynolds, the first shot was fired by Sergeant Meads, and it entered the front windshield of Mr. Brown's car. Let me say that again. It entered the front windshield of Mr. Brown's car.
Wait a second. Hold on. I'm rolling that back just a tiny bit. That's crucial information.
According to the North Carolina Justice Academy forensic analyst Casey Reynolds, the first shot was fired by Sergeant Meads, and it entered the front windshield of Mr. Brown's car. Let me say that again. It entered the front windshield of Mr. Brown's car.
So you're telling me that the fatal shot was through the front?
Brown's car continued forward, passing Deputy Lunsford, Deputy Morgan, and so
No, he got shot in the back of the head, and the bullet was still in there.
No, I know. Hold on. Let's.
The front windshield of Mr. Brown's.
What I mean is, why is he reiterating that like crazy when you see what I'm saying? So anyway, let's just let him play. Let him speak.
Brown's car continued forward, passing Deputy Lunsford, Deputy Morgan, and Sergeant Meads, and several shots are heard. One shot entered the passenger window and struck Brown in the shoulder. Several more entered the rear passenger side door and window. Brown's vehicle then accelerated across the vacant lot next to 421 Perry Street, and 5 additional shots entered the rear windshield and trunk of Brown's vehicle.
There you go.
Okay.
He's not there anymore.
Hold on. I'm rolling this back. Hold on. Let's hold on.
Brown's car continued forward, passing Deputy Lunsford, Deputy Morgan, and Sergeant Meads, and several shots are heard. One shot entered the passenger window and struck Brown in the shoulder. Several more entered the rear passenger side door and window. Brown's vehicle then accelerated across the vacant lot next to 421 Perry Street, and 5 additional shots entered the rear windshield and trunk of Brown's vehicle. At this moment, Brown was driving directly at Investigator Johnson, who was positioned on Roanoke Avenue in an unmarked white van.
Hold on, I'm pausing it right there. So the car was driving towards an unmarked van. He doesn't know who's... Okay. I'm just going to play it.
Lieutenant Judd was positioned on the corner of Roanoke and Perry in an unmarked white Crown Victoria. Brown's car narrowly missed striking the van operated by Investigator Johnson, who accelerated to avoid the collision. Brown's vehicle crossed Roanoke Avenue and struck a tree in the residence on Roanoke Avenue and came to rest. The Pasquotank County team gave chase, removed Brown from the driver's seat, and life-saving efforts were immediately begun. At 8:24, deputies notified dispatch of shots fired. Emergency medical services were requested at 8:26 a.m. Lieutenant Judd was the supervising officer. He was on the scene at the time of the shooting. Other supervising officers of Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office arrived, including Chief Deputy Fogg, who collected the weapons and cell phones of the officers who fired. All of the following is clearly depicted on the body cameras that were operational and functioning properly on April 21, 2021. They were being warned by the aforementioned Pasquotank County Sheriff's officers. The total length of officer involvement with Mr. Brown from the time they exited the vehicle until Mr. Brown was removed from the vehicle is 44 seconds. I'm now going to show you the 4 body cam videos that depict law enforcement activity with Mr. Brown on that day.
Okay, guys. We're finally going to see some of this footage. Wow. Let's go. Oh, by the way, before we get started, isn't it interesting that he did all of this stuff saying that he had a history of violence, that he was a drug dealer, etc., multiple counts of resisting arrest, all of this stuff before they started going into the story and what actually went down. So we're actually going to finally see, yes, 5K, we're going to finally see the footage with our own 2 eyes. Let's take a look. I'm not going to interrupt this footage at all. We're going to watch it clean, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? Let's go. Hopefully we'll be able to see it. I mean, you can barely see this, y'all. Yo. You better show other angles, bruh.
Told you they won't show any open angles.
They better.
They're not going to.
Because that was bad. He said 4. He's dead by now. Show us it. Okay. This is another angle. All right. Here we go. Here we go. See, he's trying to get away. That's all he's trying to do. He's just trying to get away. And then you see, he's already dead by the time that...
Yeah, they're already shooting him before they even finish getting off the truck.
Yeah, this is... Yeah.
All this just makes it look worse. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah,
this all just makes it look worse.
This is not good. And he's dead.
Every single thing he said.
And he's dead right here.
Look worse.
And he's dead. He's already dead. They said that's 2. Here's a 3rd.
This is a bad engagement completely.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. See, you can't tell. Oh, we're gonna play it in this. We're gonna replay this in a second. Let's just go through the last one. Last one. Let's have silence. We're gonna go through this. This is some trash. Sorry, this is trash. He's dead.
Yeah.
No, he's dead. Come on. All right, next one. Next one. All right. Last one, apparently. The last and final one. Hopefully this is the cleanest shot. Hopefully. Because it was the second one for me. Nah, this ain't nothing. Bruh. Trash. Hold on. Let's see what he has to say real quick.
At approximately 9 o'clock on April 21, 2021, I received a call from Special Agent in Charge, Michelle Rogers, with the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, informing me of the officer-involved shooting. Sheriff Tommy Wooten and I jointly requested the SBI conduct a thorough investigation of the shooting. Shortly after speaking with Special Agent Rogers, I contacted District Attorney Investigator John Young to meet me at our office here in Elizabeth City and to proceed with me to the scene of the incident. We viewed the scene, and later that day I met with Sheriff Wooten, Special Agent Rogers, members of the SBI team that would conduct the investigation. On May 11th, 2021, the SBI lead case agent, Jason Godfrey, began releasing the SBI report gathered to the District Attorney's office. I immediately began review of the written SBI reports and other documents as investigated by the SBI. I reviewed the SBI investigation, which included interviews of the deputies involved with the Pascalshow County Sheriff's Office, interviews of civilian witnesses, interview of Dr. Karen L. Kelly, a forensic pathologist at the Brody School of Medicine at East Carolina University in Greenville, photographs of the scene, ballistics and trajectory report of Cason Reynolds, analysis of weapons and shell casings, the law enforcement personnel records of the deputies involved, video footage of the body cameras at the scene, and the crime scene report. In addition, I have met or had telephone contact with Jason Godfrey practically every day since April 21, 2021. Agent Godfrey and I viewed the trajectory rod analysis performed by Agent Candace Pegram and assisted by Agents Rob Evans and Stephen Stile on April 22nd, 2021. Further, I sought advice and counsel from numerous elected district attorneys around the state who have had recent experience with officer-involved shooting cases. There are 14 houses near 421 Perry Street, and each location was canvassed for evidence and witnesses. 4 civilians provided statements to law enforcement. Ms. Demetria Williams stated she lived in the vicinity of 421 Perry Street and heard gunshot from inside of her residence. She further stated that after hearing the first shot, she exited her home, went down the street, and saw the remainder of the shots being fired. Ms. Williams' home is approximately 100 yards away from 421 Perry Street. The total elapsed time from the first shot to the last is 5 seconds, calling into question Ms. Williams' statements regarding witnessing the shooting. The second civilian to give a statement was Daniel Sturdivant. Mr. Sturdivant stated the incident occurred prior to 8 a.m. He stated he heard officers shouting commands, at which time he walked to his window. Sturdivant stated the officers were firing into the car while they were giving Brown commands to get out. The third civilian to give a statement was Ashley Bechtel. Ms. Bechtel stated she did not see the initial shots fired, but heard them and went to her window. She stated Brown's car was heading over Roanoke Avenue, and the officers were forceful when removing Brown from the vehicle. Bechtel further stated she heard additional shots after Brown's vehicle struck the tree and as officers approached the vehicle. The fourth civilian to give a statement was Amber Santiago. Ms. Santiago stated she was in a relationship with Mr. Brown and stated they had a telephone conversation the night before where Brown stated he believed the police were following him. Ms. Santiago further stated that Mr. Brown said he was going to stay at a hotel rather than staying at his residence.
None of this has an effect on what the police did.
Yeah, hold on.
The weapons used by the 3 Pascalshow County deputies who fired were 2 Glock 17 handguns and an AR-15 .223 rifle. These weapons were seized and provided to the SBI. The SBI recovered 14 spent shell casings, 9 from the Glock 17 handguns and 5 from the AR-15 rifle. These 14 spent shell casings were recovered from the cement driveway and in the yard adjacent to 421 Perry Street. These 14 shell casings were consistent with the body cam videos and physical examination of Brown's car as being fired by the deputies. On April 21, 2021, Mr. Brown's body was transported to the medical examiner's office in Greenville, North Carolina, where an autopsy was performed. The autopsy was conducted by Dr. Karen L. Kelly, a forensic pathologist of the Medical Examiner's Office at the Brody School of Medicine in Greenville. That was done on Thursday, April 22nd, 2021.
Have mercy.
The autopsy was witnessed by Special Agent Cowan with the North Carolina SBI, and a written report was produced of the findings. Although the autopsy and toxicology reports have not been finalized at this time, I had telephone contact with Dr. Kelly on May 12th, at which time we discussed her findings. Dr. Kelly determined Brown suffered 2 gunshot wounds, one to the right shoulder, upper arm that was non-lethal, and a second wound to the back of the head at the base of the skull near the hairline. There were 3 bullet fragments recovered from the wound to the back of the head. Dr. Kelly found multiple abrasions on Brown's right arm, right leg, and on his back. Dr. Kelly advised me that these injuries were superficial and appeared to be made by shrapnel. Additionally, Dr. Kelly recovered a plastic baggie containing an off-white, rock-like substance from inside of Mr. Brown's mouth. The substance is consistent with crystal meth and was the size of a 50-cent piece and too large to swallow. Dr. Kelly determined the cause of death to be multiple gunshot wounds.
Interesting. Real quick, they just said that because they've said before that there was not any drugs on his person. Now they're saying that there was drugs on his person. Now that they have found crystal meth in his mouth. That obviously he obviously was either trying to hide or he was trying to swallow it, which would be insane. But yeah, the size of a $50. That's crazy.
Yes.
David, go ahead.
So yeah, the original warrant was to first check his house and then check his vehicle for drugs. They did it out of order. They went for him first. They did not look for the drugs first. However, they immediately performed the rest of the search warrant after the incident. And at that point, they did release that there were no drugs within his house and that they found nothing within the vehicle as well.
Exactly. So now
toxicology did not point out any sort of like poisoning or overdose in his system. But now that's what they're saying is that he had meth laced with phenyl or something,
fentanyl,
which is largely which is largely irrelevant to the head injury, which he's trying to downplay. But 3 shots of shrapnel to the back of your head that don't travel through your skull, that means the force went into your brain. I don't know what he's really trying to do here. He's acknowledging everything but trying to act like it didn't happen. I really don't know, but either way, he's
Go ahead.
So he's contradicting all the original warrants and what they found. And he's also basically, he's explaining what we already saw and discussed before, but he's trying to make it sound like it was reasonable. This reminds me of Chauvin, where instead of describing reasonable actions, he just kept saying a reasonable officer would do this. And he's kind of doing the same thing where he's saying, well, this was the only choice they had, while he's simultaneously saying that the guy is turning away from him. But at the same time, he's saying he's turning towards people on the right, and that's where they threaten him, even though you see that they fire within the first maybe 2 seconds of them getting off of the vehicle. At that point, there was no serious threat to them. I mean, they were still in front of their truck. And that's why one of those narrow angles really kind of plays this trick on you with the other views, because they're suggesting that he's driving straight at these people and going to hit them, even though you see he's turning left. And the thing is, if he was actually heading straight at them, he would hit the truck and stop moving. He would not actually be able to have performed this action that they're suggesting he was trying to perform. And that's why I don't think we're going to see these Ring cameras or the other cameras they confiscated. We're only going to see these very narrow views that don't actually show the entire situation the way it is. Because if it played out as the way he described it, the police not only engaged this tactically wrong, but they engaged in violence long before it was necessary to do so, especially considering that guidance is to let people that are trying to get away, you don't shoot them in the back, or especially you don't shoot them that many times in the back. especially since those bullets are going to continue to travel through. And as he pointed out, in the very first thing they did was shoot at him and miss completely. So that shot went somewhere.
Yeah. No, like, you know, long story short, it doesn't make any sense. They give the whole, like I said, they're going to call him everything under the sun except him being a child of God. They're going to defame his name. They're going to say all this stuff, and then they're going to show the footage. Then after that, they're going to have, like, he shows all this footage, and then, of course, he's, you know, I get it. He's giving everybody the full scope of not even what the cops, what we saw in the cops and the stills and all that stuff. But at the same time, there's that other piece of what the bystanders say and what the bystanders were saying when they saw everything go down as well. So I appreciate and I understand him giving us the full scope. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of times they will sit there and use the person's rap sheet as a certificate for death, you know, for a reason for their license to kill. And that's what's so frustrating about this. And then, yes, the footage that we have seen so far, meh. It's meh at best. But at the same time, you can still see in the video, in my personal opinion, he's driving away from them. He's not trying to hurt anybody. I don't think he's going after them and trying to drive somebody down. He's trying to drive away. He's trying to get free so he doesn't get caught. Whether he does have a wad of meth in his mouth or not, he was just trying to get away from it. Now, there is something that somebody asked a second ago, which I want to answer real quick before we play the rest of this thing here. Hold on one second. On Facebook, Tim, what's up? Said, no. Hold up. That's not the one. He said, okay, he was a drug dealer. He wasn't going to go down without a fight. Come on, guys. Now, here's the thing. I don't think he was fighting. He was trying to fly. He was trying to conduct flight. He was trying to leave. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get out of his car and start throwing bows. He didn't put the paws on him. He turned on his car and tried to drive away. He was trying to get away. And it might have turned into a high-speed chase or no. But the cops decided to start blasting into the car. And now we have a man who's no longer here. Doesn't matter if he's a drug dealer or not. If this was just some regular guy, this still would be a messed up story. Yes, fentanyl laced in heroin. Terrible. That is terrible stuff, right? And yes, you should be brought to justice. You should be brought in for those kind of things. But that does not garner a bullet to the back of the head. This man was not driving towards them. He was driving away. At least this is from what I'm seeing. I'm gonna try to find, or hey, David, if you don't mind, could you see if it's on YouTube already, the actual video itself? Because I want us to see it not all bleached out and on some screen. Like we can actually watch it with our own two eyes in Technicolor and, you know, super blocked, because there was only the second video that they showed was the only good one, right? And you can see he's turning away. He's not driving towards them. He's driving away. That's in my personal opinion. But like I said, I understand he's a piece of trash for selling fentanyl laced heroin. Okay.
All right, so the videos aren't out yet. This was a public show, the first public showing that we just saw. So they should come out soon.
Well, let's see if there's any more. Let's see real quick. Let's see if there's more in here so that we can just open up the discussion real quick. I just want to see if he's got more to say here real quick.
The deputies involved in the shooting incident have no prior excessive force complaints.
Oh, they're clean.
The law is clear and long established. The United States Supreme Court, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the North Carolina appellate courts have all held that where officers are attempting to make an arrest, deadly force may be used if it appears to be reasonably necessary to, first, protect against deadly force that the arrestee is using to resist arrest, or two, to take into custody a person who presents an imminent threat of death or serious injury to others unless apprehended immediately. The North Carolina General Assembly has codified this case law in our general statutes at NCGS 15A 401D2, which I have attached to the press package. The United States Supreme Court has cautioned prosecutors may not employ the 20/20 vision of hindsight but must make allowance for the fact that police officers are often forced to make split-second judgment in circumstances that are tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving. The law authorizes an officer to take preemptive action and use deadly force to prevent death or serious injury to himself or herself, provided that the threat assessment is reasonably made. Whenever officers use deadly force to defend themselves or to stop a dangerous fleeing felon, the determination of whether they properly used that force focuses on whether the totality of the circumstances as they appeared to the officers at the time of the killing were sufficient to create a belief in a reasonable person standing in their shoes that such force was necessary.
You know, hold on. Hold on 1 second, David. Because I got this thing cranked all the way up. So anytime you talk, it's like blasting. Hold on 1 second. I just wanted to see if there's anything else. I mean, obviously there's still a full-on press conference going on, but okay. Go ahead, David. I got you turned down now.
So, just a few things I want to touch here. So first off, it was a search warrant. It was not an arrest warrant, just to be clear. So they weren't even supposed to be going in for an arrest. They were supposed to just go there to search his vehicle at most. Actually, like I said before, they were supposed to search his house first. They failed to perform the warrant as it was written. And I mean, he's kind of made the same argument I made before, that you are not supposed to shoot somebody that is driving away unless you know that they're performing, or unless you know that they're going to immediately hurt or kill somebody else and that it's their intent. So I feel like he's kind of just making the argument for us here that, at that point he's driving away. He's not a threat to them and he's still being shot. Because he's not a direct threat to them, and they don't have any knowledge that he's going to go and kill someone right now, right? That's what they mean by they have to stop him if he provides an imminent threat. I point back to the time that the guy was trying to run into a restaurant or as a gas station with a knife, would not stop no matter what the police did, and they shot him in the back then. That was legal. You could argue if it's right or not, but that was legal. In this case, it was not legal. He was not trying to harm anyone. I guess they are making the argument that he was trying to drive into them, and then they try to suggest that he was driving at an unmarked parked vehicle to attack it, which doesn't make sense, especially since his vehicle wasn't going in that direction.
Well, also you got to remember that his car now was driving off with a dead body in it. So it's not like he was aiming towards anything. They shot a bunch of rounds in the back of the car. He got hit in the back of the head. He was dead. The car kept going in one direction because he had already been hit in the back of the head. It was a dead body driving the car. So, I mean, it's reaching when you start going, oh, he was going after an unmarked car. No, it wasn't. He was dead. He was dead when they shot into the back of the car. There's no way he could direct or steer that car towards the unmarked car when he did. That doesn't make any sense, but go ahead.
Yeah, and two, the last thing I was going to point out, he was trying to make it sound like the injuries to the back of the skull were not possibly the ones that caused the injury. However, I did say this, that shrapnel would still cause enough damage there, but it is actually a tactic to use. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but it is a tactic to use the shrapnel of a bullet when you can't get a direct shot. So shrapnel from bullets is deadly, and it's intended often to be used as the same effect as a bullet. So this idea that the shrapnel was less effective because it's shrapnel isn't really the case. That's a tactic of engaging with people. That was probably not what was intended here, but shrapnel is just as dangerous, and it's used as a weapon specifically and intentionally in certain circumstances. So the idea that it wasn't lethal just because it's shrapnel is incredibly misleading, and I would just say lying to a certain degree.
Like I said, it's just, to me, it doesn't make any sense to sit there and because I'm reading some of the comments, and I hear y'all. This is going to be a very what's the word, polarizing and dividing conversation here, because whether you like whether this guy was a good man or not, I still don't think that he was driving towards them trying to cause harm to the cops. Now, of course, the car kept driving off the road, towards an unmarked car. But at that time, he was already dead. He had already perished. He had already expired while the car was literally going off the lawn into the road. But, you know, I just don't think, like, when it comes to shrapnel and all that, I don't think that when it's split-second decisions that as they say, I don't think those cops are thinking, ooh, the shrapnel, we could use the shrapnel for. No, they were just shooting into the car. They weren't thinking about tactics and this, that, and the thirds and the centripetal force of X, Y, and Z. Therefore, carry the one. That's why you get that's why you find the answer for X. No, I don't think that it's that at all. I think that split-second situation happened, and they just started lighting that car up, and that's it. Yeah, also, I want to say this too, real quick. The other thing, and I'm not talking about you, I'm just saying in general, like if they were to say, oh yeah, the tactical things of the shrapnel, then they reach in like a mug. But the other thing I want to say as well is this: they came in hot up in this piece, man. They came in ready to go. They were already calling him MFer. They were already going in like a mug. They were ready to go. They were suited and booted, ready to go. Period. And of course, that scared the crap out of the guy. Not sitting here justifying him being scared. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he was scared. Some people will literally just put their hands on 10 and 2 and not move, or put their hands on the dashboard and not move. And then there's some other people that will start running because of fear, right? And that's exactly what he did. At the end of it all, he is not somebody who was trying to run down the cops. I'll say that. Yeah, he was selling drugs. These are from reliable sources. He was doing X, Y, and Z, right? From reliable, credible sources.
My point wasn't that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I didn't mean that they were trying to intentionally hit him with shrapnel. My point was that the guy giving the speech kind of suggested that the shrapnel wounds to the back of the head were not the cause of his death, trying to suggest that shooting him that they did not intentionally shoot him into the back of the head, and that even if the round hit the back of the head, that it was not what caused his death. But my point was that that's not the case. What very well happened is that they were shooting at him and the bullet just broke apart as it went on the way. So if they shot through the windshield, that would cause shrapnel and that would still go through his brain just fine. So my point is that their idea that it's shrapnel, so it's not what killed him and it wasn't directed at him, that's just wrong, because that's not how bullets work. They were probably aiming at him, and the bullet breaking apart happened on the way there. It's not that unusual. So yeah, my point is the guy is trying to suggest that there was not a fatal shot to the back of the head, and it's really hard to argue that someone getting shot in the back of the head is not fatal, especially since it did not travel through the skull. It stopped inside of it somewhere, which means, obviously, that all that force and metal was in his brain, which is fatal.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of it all, I mean, I understand that the cops aren't literally like they're sharpshooting, aiming for the head. I get that. But you are still shooting about 5 rounds, I think they said, 5 rounds into the back of a car. And the car is wildly going off. It's off-roading right now. You see what I'm saying? It's not like you're sitting there going, okay, I got headshot, bang. This ain't Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? You're just randomly shooting. You're spraying bullets into the back of a car. Of course something bad's going to happen. Of course. You're shooting blindly into a rear window of a car. What do you think is going to happen? That shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened, in my personal opinion. Now, they're saying that this, like I said, those were 4 pieces of footage, 4 pieces of body cam footage, different angles. Hey, you guys are just going to have to sit back, look at it, and make that decision for yourself on what you think, how you think it went down. And if it was justified or not. I don't think it was justified, but they're trying to make it seem like this was a justified shooting. I don't see it. I still don't see it. That's just my personal opinion. You see the wheels turn. Now, I understand about split-second decisions, but after they shot in the front of the car and he is driven off, they didn't need to start shooting in the back of the car. That shouldn't have happened. I don't agree with that part. There needs to be better protocols and better approaches to situations like this, because they could have easily just jumped in their car, or those other unmarked vans and whatnot could have just followed him down, whatever. He might have slowed down after getting that shot in the arm. He might have slowed down and said, F it. You never know. We don't know because we don't have that opportunity because he's no longer here. I think this was not a justified shooting. They try to set it up to try to make it seem like he's anything but a child of God. And then they show the footage, and the footage to me does not justify the act at all, in my personal opinion. But unfortunately, guys, we're not going to be able to cover all this other stuff that we were going to. That kind of took up a big chunk of today's show. But I think this was a very important piece that we needed to see for ourselves. So Games and I forgot the screen name now. Games and what is it? Games and Gossip. Something. Games and Gossip, thank you. Games and Gossip, big thank you for the heads up about this press briefing and everything. And I know for a fact that the original or the real video body cam footage will be coming out here, leaking out for real. But this was an exclusive, so thank you so much to Games and Gossip for letting me know that this was going down. But unfortunately, the other pieces of conversation I'll probably have to hold for tonight's show, which will be at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So be sure to tune in. David, thank you so much for being on, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man, it's a good show.
Yeah, man. A little impromptu, but it was important. That was footage I've been wanting to see for the longest time, and they finally dropped it. And you know for a fact everybody and their mama is going to be watching it and talking about it and putting in their own analysis and their 2 cents on it as well. So anyway, I got to get going. I love all you guys. Have a safe and wonderful Tuesday. Have a terrific Tuesday. All right? And I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. And, of course, hit that join button if you are interested in helping support this channel. Anyways, time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Love, peace, and wellness for the holidays. Don't cancel them. Prepare, STL. Decorate. Make it as normal as you can, but slow the spread of COVID. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Watch your distance. Prepare, STL, helping St. Louisans of color prepare and prevail.
But you see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. So you can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all of that.
No,
so what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, we have extra people to clean, rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.
Thanks.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.